And we just wait. And we drop a golden cage astrolabe. What the Hello, YouTube. Today, I decided for the next episode of Pets vs. No Pets, I decided to just put a debate down once and for all. And I've done a strat where all we did was compare the Afterlight pets, nothing else. So the ways that we standardized the RNG is for my Atlas strat, I went full on quant for the Afterlight mechanic. We took 12% drop quant, additional drop quant, the 25% drop quant here. We went full investment on just drop quant, and then with my remaining points, I decided to just take some boss rush nodes, try to see how many, just get some defense resonance, basic stuff like that. As well as I put 15 points into God of War, just so we can spawn God of Wars. Then for my maps, the only thing I put in was the bronze wick, and then for each map, I would go into 100% drop quant. I clicked 100% drop quant. So the reason I did this, my decision making behind all of this, was essentially that for every test we do, I don't think any test is gonna have more drop quant than we had in this setup. So I think this is like the absolute maximum of what we could expect from the Afterlight mechanic going into like the various tests. And then for drop pack spirits, what we did is we went Chalk, FE Pet, and Twilight Sparks. And these are the only pets that we ran for the mechanics. I mean, that we ran for every single map. Because the thing we were testing is the visual gameplay setup. This visual gameplay, or like this Afterlight season exclusive, is the only thing that affects the drops from the league mechanic. And the only thing we were testing or farming in this strat setup was the league mechanic. So, with that being said, I'm gonna make myself tiny. I'm tiny meow. Meow. With that being said, we did do 3 different setups of 50 maps. So we did 50 maps for every single setup. And we did one setup with the Afterlight pet, the Afterlight purple pet, and then the Legendary Quant pet. We did one setup with no Afterlight pets at all, but still using the Legendary Quant pet. And then I did one setup with no Legendary pets at all. So we would have the comparison of having the level 6 Afterlight pet, having no Afterlight pets at all, but having other level 6 Legendary pets, and then the comparison of having no legendary, level 6 legendaries at all, and just using whatever level 6 pets, whatever purple pets you happen to have. Now, to make things a bit more fair, what I also went out of my way to do in this test, which you'll see written right here, is I also tracked the event RNG. So first up, we did Veteran's Coffin. I would say Veteran's Coffin is probably like a A-tier event. I think it's one of the better events you can get. The actual Veteran's Coffin doesn't drop that much FE, but once you get to the end of the coffin, the chest at the end does drop a decent amount. And with the legendary pets, we had 4 spawn. And in the other 2 steps, we only had 2 spawn, which is a bit unlucky for the other 2. We got a bit unlucky in the no pet setups. Also, from now on out, if I say pet setup, I mean Afterlight pet. If I say no pet setup, I mean no Afterlight pets. Just to make it very clear and to avoid confusion. So yeah, we had 4 veteran coffin spawn. We're lucky with Afterlight pets. We had 3 golden boss spawns, which is also the most out of any setup. We had 2 rainbow boss spawns, which this was massive. Because one of the rainbow bosses we spawned also tripled. And I think this gave like fucking 500 FE, which definitely swayed things in favor for the Afterlight pets. That was like a massive swing in favor for the Afterlight pets. We had 1 Ghost Sprite, which was actually not the most. With the no pet up, no legendary setup, we did have 2 Ghost Sprites, which did pump up the FE power quite a lot. We had 1 Goblin, which... Oh yeah, Ghost Sprite, by the way, I would say is like S tier is the best event you can have. Rainbow Boss is also S tier. Absolutely insane every time it spawns. we had one Goblin, which I would say Goblin's like a B tier. Goblin feels a lot better in like Deep Space, but Profound Goblin felt kind of mid to me every time I'd had it. We only had one Goblin spawn, which is not the most. The most we had was from the no Afterlight Pet setup. We had one Gold Coffin. Gold Coffin is the Emperor's Gold Coffin, which is the one where it spawns like 3 mobs at a time. I would say Gold Coffin is also a S tier one, or at least an A tier one. It's like A tier, but it's better than Veteran's Coffin. And we only had one spawn here with the Legendary Pets, whereas in the other setups we had 2 and 1. We had 3 Raid Revivals, which is like at the end when it spawns the extra waves, which pretty irrelevant. This is pre-F tier, I'll be honest with you. But surprisingly, it actually felt pretty decent with the Afterlight Pets. We had some decent drops from having these extra spawns, whereas with the other like no pet setups, we didn't really feel that good, I'll be honest with you. And this is one that's absolutely massive, probably the biggest like impact. The biggest like difference between the setups is we had 4 golden showers. When I say golden showers, I do mean the mobs that spawn that have like the golden dots on the map. This is an SSS tier event. It is one of the strongest events you can have spawn. And I think this is a massive reason why the full Afterlight Pet setup did so much better than the other 2. Because we had 4 of them spawn here, whereas with the Legendary Pets, we only had 1. The no Afterlight Pets, just with Legendaries, we only had 1. And we had 0 spawn with the no Pets one. I think that was a massive swing in FE for like the Afterlight setup. Because I literally have like a clip on my channel where we had like over 1k FE just from the golden shower spawning. And then we didn't track the gold dudes. Like there's like these gold mascots will spawn and split. I didn't track them. I just didn't think about tracking them, and also it's kind of difficult to track them because you also have to write down every time they split. And we also didn't track the ghosts that spawn that you can like run over because I just didn't think about it. So with all that being said, what are the results? Well, with the full Afterlight setup, with the low 6 Legendary Pets and Legendary 6 Quant Pet, we had 3,500 FE per hour, and we made a total profit of 2,300. With the no Afterlight Pets at all setup, we made 2,300 FE per hour, with 1,500 profit. And with no Legendary Pets and no Afterlight Pets, we made 2,160 per hour and 1,400 per profit. Which is really, like, very close and similar. Like, these 2 setups are almost identical. They're within margin, which is definitely very surprising. But let's look at the loot. And let's see where these big differences came in and why we noticed such a big difference. So for our first 50 maps, this is looking at the maps with the Afterlight Pet. So this is the level 6 Afterlight Pet. We had 1,600 FE, which I will just spoil already for you. In both the other tests, we had the same amount of FE. We had 1,600 FE with the no Afterlight Pet. And with the no Afterlight, no Legendary Pet, we had 1,039 FE. So seemingly, the Afterlight Pet did add an extra 600 FE, just raw FE that we dropped from the mechanic. I do believe that this is partially due to the fact that we had the ×4 golden shower. I think that played a pretty large role in this extra FE. And yeah, I mean, that's all I really have to say. Other than that, we had 15 Silver Wicks, we had 49 Deep Space Resonance. The Deep Space Resonance was pretty much the same across all 3, which is expected. It's irrelevant to the Afterlight strat. That is just like a different strat that I was throwing in the back end. But one star of Legend drop, we had 1 Gods of Hunting Divine Remnant drop, 2 Gold Wicks, 27 Bronze Wicks, and 16 cards. And then just some general combos and things with 1 Sacred Fossil. Nothing too exciting or special here. For the Legendary Pet, but no Afterlight Pet setup, we of course had the 1,064 FE. We had 5 Gold Wicks, which, just to remind you, in the first setup, we had 2 draw. So that is in favor of the no Afterlight Pets having 5 draw. We did have another King's Divine Remnant drop, which was equal value to the one we dropped in the, full Afterlight setup. We had 22 Bronze Wicks. We had a lot less Tomorrow's Direction drops. Like a lot less. Not exactly sure why. But pretty much, it's all over the place. Just like generic compasses, only 2 Silver Wicks, which is way less. It's not really, I'll be honest with you, there's not much to look at when it comes to the loot. Like, I'm going through them and things, but it's kind of uninteresting. And then lastly, with the no legendary pets at all setup, and obviously no Afterlight pets, we had 1309 FE. And here, surprisingly, our top, performers or compasses, whereas in both the other setups, we had other things at the top, like Gold Wicks, Deep Size Resonance, and Remnants. Here, our top performance are actually just lucky compass drops we happen to have. Then the Deep Size Resonance, then Silver Wicks, 2 Sacred Fossils actually. We had a Remnant drop, but we had a lower tier Remnant drop, just a less lucky Remnant drop. 11 Bronze Wicks. And did we have any Gold Wick drops? I don't think we dropped a single Gold Wick in any of these 50 maps. Which is pretty unlucky if you ask me. Even the Silver Wicks, 10 Silver Wicks is a lot less, I think, than we're doing. Yeah, you had 22 Bronze Wicks. And here we did only 11 Bronze Wicks. And the first setup, we did 27 Bronze Wicks. So definitely got a lot less lucky of the Wicks and stuff, just the League mechanic in general. But kind of just compensate for by just having luckier compass drops. But this might be an indicator of the lack of quant pet actually having an effect on the farm. Or, just the fact that 50 maps is not big enough sample size. I was considering doing 100 maps to have a bigger sample size. This is just too much work, dude. These maps are some of the most boring maps I've ever had to run in my entire fucking life. I'll do a quick mapping showcase to just showcase you just how boring it is to actually test this out, to give you an idea. But essentially what the strat is we go in, we have no compasses, we have no strat. We just click the God of War, we run up to the League mechanic, we interact with the League mechanic,
Keep up with the lantern. The watch starts now.
and we just wait. And we just wait. And we drop a golden cage astrolabe. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, okay.
I am the Sun Queen.
Yeah, this is no pets, by the way. We are literally in the full on no pet setup, and we dropped golden cage. We clear the map and we TP out. And then, of course, we're going to include that into the no pet setup. And boom, the no pet setup is now doing 3030 FE per hour. GG noobs. No pets are superior. Jokes aside, that is an absolutely crazy drop, which definitely would have been a massive outlier in the testing data. But fortunately, it just happened in the map showcase. And with all that being said, I'm gonna take this time to also now just bring to people's attention why I did this test, and just do a bit of a call to action. So the main reason we did this test is because I've been receiving a lot of comments about people not being happy about me doing the Afterlight mechanic, and saying it kind of degrades the testing experience if I do a test with the Afterlight League pet and then do one without the Afterlight League pet, or with no legendary pets and everything. Because by doing this difference in testing, it feels like the testing becomes more about, how good is the Afterlight mechanic, rather than how good is this mechanic with pets versus this mechanic without pets. So I did do a poll on my channel where I asked people to go and vote, what would you rather have me do? Would you rather have me do the Afterlight mechanic with the League pet with like the same pets throughout? Like I don't change my Afterlight pets, I just keep everything the same? Or would you rather have me not do the mechanic and just skip it altogether? Because personally, I don't really mind. I can do either or. So if you have like any strong opinions about it, please do go and vote here. I did want to do this testing so you can see the difference in the Afterlight mechanic. And I do want to point out one issue that I have of not doing the Afterlight mechanic. One, I do think it promotes bad gameplay habits. I do think in any strat I test in any form I do, you should always be doing the Afterlight mechanic. And if I keep the pets the same between testing, that doesn't actually affect the results of the testing because it's just a constant FE per hour that is always going to be added onto the strats. You know, it doesn't take away from the strats. You can just take away that constant if you don't want it to be there. And to some strats, like, literally just becomes so much worse to do. Like, beacon farming, for example, a very core integral part of beacon farming is getting to max God of War stacks. And if you don't do the Afterlight mechanic, you cannot guarantee to get max stacks every single map. So skipping the Afterlight mechanic genuinely just makes the strat worse. Because sometimes I'll have maps where I just don't reach 14 stacks or 17 stacks. Which, those things kind of make me not want to do the Afterlight mechanic, because at first today I was going to redo the beacon farm test. And I actually had people come into my chat and be like, oh, is the league mechanic not worth doing? Are you supposed to skip it? And I feel like that just promotes bad gameplay, you know? I don't want to promote bad habits or, like, you know, make people do things they're not supposed to do. I would rather, like, showcase optimal farming and optimal strats. But that's just my personal 2 cents. You can just go on this poll and vote. It has 200 votes. Like, earlier today, this was winning. Now this is winning. It's still, like, anyone's game. I'll let this, like, vote up and get to, like, 400 votes. Or maybe, like, 300 votes. And then tomorrow, make a decision or make a call on it. But at the moment, I am kind of leaning towards doing this option of always doing the Afterlight mechanic and just swapping just not changing the Afterlight pets. Because I do think it makes no fucking sense to not do the Afterlight mechanic. And if you're, like, worried about future-proofing your strats and stuff, just don't be. You're adding a constant to an equation. You can just remove the constant, and it's still going to be the same equation. You know? But anyway, I hope this video was helpful, and I hope this video was interesting to watch at the very least. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely day further, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye.